there's a pile somewhere. Maybe it's mail sitting on the counter, kitchen table, maybe by the floor, by the front door, where it just lands when you walk in and just don't. Maybe it's a tab, one of those tabs that you open on your phone, your bank app, your credit card, your student loans, and you just look at it for exactly half a second and then close it. We don't count that as looking at our finances, by the way. We know what we're doing. Maybe it's a login that you lost 3 password resets ago. Maybe it's a number you've been meaning to check for so long that by now you're genuinely scared of what it might be. Here's what I know. Every single day, you mean to deal with it. Every single day, something else happens first. The pile sits there, gets bigger, gets heavier, gets harder to start. I need to tell you something. That's not laziness. That is not you being bad with money. That is not a character flaw or a moral failing or proof that you are not ready. That is friction. And today, we're going to talk about what friction actually means and what to do about it so you can finally make progress with your finances.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money.
Here we go. Shake this shit.
But first, can I say something? If you've been feeling behind on your finances, like no matter how hard you try, something always comes back up to knock you back, you aren't uniquely struggling with that. A 2025 national survey found that 53% of Americans, more than half, feel like no matter how hard they try to get ahead financially, something always gets in their way. And 48% feel that they're just constantly treading water. If that's you right now, I see you. There's a community of people who sees you. That math, that reality, it is really exhausting. So we're not starting with what's wrong with you. We're starting from acknowledging that this is genuinely hard for most people, and there are real reasons why. Now, if you have ADHD, and a lot of us in this community do, I need you to hear this specifically. There is actual research on why this hits us differently. Between 40 and 60% of adults with ADHD have documented challenges with executive function, which sounds super clinical, I know. So let me tell you what this actually means. Executive function is your brain's ability to plan, organize, initiate, and follow through. It's the exact set of skills that personal finances requires. Paying bills on time, executive function. Organizing paperwork, executive function. Remembering a login that you haven't used in 6 months, executive functioning. Sitting down with your finances, even when you don't want to, you got it, executive function. For up to 60% of adults with ADHD, those functions work differently than they do with neurotypical brains. Not because you don't care, not because you are lazy, because your brain simply is wired differently. And you deserve a system that was built for how someone like you actually works, not for someone else's brain. Can I be awkwardly honest with you for just a second? Okay, a little vulnerability moment. Because I want you to know that I am not standing here as, well, sitting here as someone who has figured this out before the damage was done. Oh no, from 2020 to 2022, I was in the deepest depression of my life. And one of the ways that it showed up for me was my mail. I stopped opening it. Then I stopped checking it. Then the pile got so tall that I stopped looking altogether. It was just there on the table, then in bins, next to the table, then in a corner with a cup on top of it, like it was decoration. You want to know how bad it got? The post office stopped delivering my mail. Very ghetto. They sent a notice, which I also didn't open, that essentially said, ma'am, you have too much mail in your mailbox. Come get it from the building. I am an accredited financial counselor, and my mail had been held at the post office like an abandoned package. The pile wasn't laziness. It wasn't irresponsibility. It was my nervous system waving a white flag and me not knowing how to answer it. Every envelope felt like a verdict. Every bill felt like proof of something I didn't want to face. So I didn't face it. And the pile grew, which made tackling it feel more impossible than the day before. And avoidance grew with it. It took God sending my mama and my sisters to my front door to pull me out of it, literally. To sit with me, opening envelopes, sorting the mess, not judging a word of it. That's actually where my paper party was born, by the way. If you haven't heard of my quarterly paper parties and how I read them, I'll post a video about that too. But that's where my paper party idea was born. Not from my expertise, from experiencing a severe breakdown in an executive function capacity because of depression. So when I say that I understand what it feels like when your nervous system has gotten in the way of your money, I am not saying that I have been there from a safe distance or from a textbook in a classroom where I'm learning about this in theory. I am saying I have been there in real life, all up in the weeds of it, with the hold notices and the corner piles and the cup on top. I have found my way out of that paper clutter, and so will you. And I want you to know one more thing for the Black women watching this, especially those of you who went most of your childhood and then most of adult life being told that you were disorganized and scattered and unfocused and too much and not enough. I need you to hear this. Research has confirmed that Black girls show up with ADHD symptoms at significant rates and still get diagnosed far less often than white children. A 2025 study, I believe, found that Black children are 69% less likely to receive an ADHD diagnosis, which means that a lot of us spend our whole lives being handed a story about who we were without being handed the actual explanation. We were told we were lazy when our executive function was struggling. We were told we were irresponsible when our brains needed support that nobody offered. We were told that our character was the issue when it was a diagnosis gap, and it killed our self-trust. So if your finances have ever felt like proof that something is fundamentally wrong with you, that story was never true. Something was wrong with the system. But we're rewriting your story today. Okay? So it's not a character flaw. Then what is it? Let me introduce you to a concept that changed how I think about all of this. It's called friction. Researchers and behavioral scientists define friction as the barriers, physical, mental, or procedural, that decrease the likelihood that you'll take action. Basically, the harder something is to start, the less likely you are to do it. Your brain is constantly running a little calculation in the background, effort versus reward. And if the effort is too high and the reward doesn't feel immediate enough, you don't start, especially if you have ADHD. And it's not a willpower thing. This is a design thing. BJ Fogg, a researcher at Stanford who has spent his career studying human behavior, put it like this: the ability isn't just about skill, it's primarily about friction, which means that it's not that you can't do the thing, it's that the thing has too many barriers in front of it. And because people with ADHD process information so quickly, yeah, we're super smart. And we have this superpower of divergent thinking, we make connections that other people don't see yet, which also means that we see more barriers than other people, which makes starting the task even more difficult for us. It's friction. And friction can work for you and it can work against you. Let me give you an example. And I promise this is one of those examples that is going to ruin how you look at your refrigerator, or maybe help. I don't know. Anyway, you open the refrigerator. Wait, let me do it like I would do it in real life. No, I got French doors. You open the refrigerator. There's a soda right there in front. There's a water bottle in the back. What do you grab? The soda. And look, maybe you did want it. Maybe it's your favorite. Maybe you've been thinking about it all day, but you've been trying to drink more water. You know the water bottle was in the fridge. You know it's back there, but you grab the soda anyway. Not because you made a conscious decision, but because it was closer. That's friction. Positive psychologist Sean Acker, Harvard researcher, found that even a 20-second reduction in time required for an action was enough to create lasting behavioral change. 20 seconds, not 20 minutes, not a whole routine overhaul, 20 seconds. That tiny bit of extra distance between you and the soda is all it takes to change the outcome, which means I need everyone to move their water bottle to the front of the fridge. I'm serious. Do it after this video. And move your soda to the back. Remove the friction from the good habit that you're trying to adapt and add friction to the bad habit that you're trying to break. Okay? Now, this applies to your finances too. When was the last time it was easy to deal with your money? When was the last time everything was in one place? The login worked on the first try and you had a clear picture of what was coming in and going out. For a lot of us, it's been never. For some of us, it's been a minute. And that's not because we stopped caring. That's because there are too many friction points between us and the action that we need to take. Let me name some of them for you. And tell me if they sound familiar. Okay? The paper pile. The mail that came in last week and the week before, and possibly the week before that. The pile that started as just a few envelopes and turned into a mountain and turned into, honestly, at this point, you just accepted that as furniture. We've all got that pile. Even the people who look like they have it together, I promise you, there is a pile somewhere. It's friction. Then there's the missing login. You want to check your account. You open the app. You don't remember the password. You click I forgot. The reset link goes to an email address you haven't checked in 3 months. You close the app. You tell yourself, I'll do it later. But later never comes. And the bill still gets charged and you're frustrated because you needed that money. Here's another one. Multiple accounts that you can't see in one place. Checking account here, a savings account there, a credit card that's in your name, but you lost track of, a 401k from your job that you left 2 years ago and that you meant to roll over, a Cash App card, a PayPal card, a Apple Pay account with $14.11 on your Starbucks app, your business card, that's the same color as your personal card. None of it is connected. All of it is in your head, which is exhausting and confusing. It's friction. Another one. Subscriptions you're paying for but can't name. Right now, there is a charge on your bank statement that you don't fully recognize. Maybe it's a streaming service from a free trial that you forgot to cancel. Maybe it's an app, maybe something your kids signed up for. A 2025 survey found that 42% of people admitted that they forgot about a subscription while still being charged for it. And 89%, yes, 89% of people underestimate how much they spend on subscriptions. By an average, 2.5. Whatever you think you're paying right now for subscription, multiply that number by 2.5. Friction. Another example. Your physical money management workspace is missing things that you need. You got bills in one place, your purse is downstairs on the table, your budget notebook is on your desk at home, but you're trying to work on it from your desk at work. Your trash can is on the other side of the room. There's no single location where you can just sit down and see your whole financial picture at once, which means that every time you try to deal with your finances and your money, you're assembling a puzzle with pieces from several different rooms. Friction. Want another one? Sharing finances. Now, I'm not saying don't share finances, but I am saying there's going to be some friction when you have co-mingled monies. It gets harder when other people are adding pieces without telling you. A partner makes a purchase, a kid needs something last minute, a family member asks for help, the money is moving, just not always by you. and not always in a way that you can see. You're the only one trying to hold the picture together, and the picture keeps changing. Now, I want you to sit with this for a second, because every single one of those things I just named is a friction point. It is a wall between you and the action. And here's what happens with friction: it triggers the "I'll do it later" response. I'll do it later accumulates. I'll do it later becomes a pile, a mountain, a thing you can't look at. And then the pile itself becomes new friction, because now it's not just a task, it's the task plus the shame of the task you didn't do before. I have read comments from real people talking about this in ADHD communities online, and I hear them describe it like this: the more the pile grows, the more it haunted me. I avoided it because it stressed me out. Even thinking about it drains me. The moment I wake up, I feel like shutting down just thinking about it. That is not laziness, that is friction compounded. Now, for those of us with ADHD, and again, this includes me, I just want to explain why this is not just hard, it is exponentially harder. We talked about executive function earlier. Here's the thing about executive function in ADHD. When a neurotypical brain hits a friction point, like a login that doesn't work, the brain goes, it's annoying, but then it finds another way and it moves on. When an ADHD brain hits the same friction point, the executive function needed to problem solve, pivot, and persist, the stuff that makes following through possible, are the exact same things that ADHD affects: working memory, object permanence, dopamine, self-regulation, impulse control, executive function, time blindness, rejection sensitivity. So the wall that they are facing isn't just annoying. The wall is a stop sign. And I'm going to say something that I really want you to hear. I have ADHD. I know from the inside what it's like to stare at a task that will take you 5 freaking minutes, to know it needs to happen, to want it to happen, and to not be able to make your body start. That wall is real. I am not telling you to push through it. I am going to just show you how to lower it. The science backs it up. Research found that adults with ADHD experience significant challenges in the exact cognitive functions that financial management requires: planning, organizing, time management, and follow through. This is not a character flaw or a lack of effort. This is neurology. And what that means practically is this: the system that works for neurotypical people, the filing system that lives in a hidden cabinet, the gray and white budget spreadsheet, the just set this up app advice, those systems have friction baked in that neurotypical brains can absorb. Our brains cannot, which is why we don't need to try harder. We need systems with less friction, systems that work with how our brains actually operate. And that is what we're building today. So, what do we actually do about this? Here's what I want you to understand. The goal of this month is not perfection, not a complete financial overhaul, not a color-coded binder with tabs, not a flawless budget. The goal is to remove enough friction that you can take one real step. That's it. Because here's what researchers have found when they studied friction and behavioral change. Removing even small barriers, even just making a tiny bit easier, substantially increases the likelihood that people actually do it. You don't need to be more motivated. You need fewer barriers. So this month, we're starting with the gathering, not organizing, not fixing, not budgeting, just gathering. I want you to take everything that currently lives in your head about your money and move it into one place. Here's the list. Your bank accounts. How many do you have? Where are they? What do you actually use them for? Do you know the logins for each one? Your credit cards. All of them. Active ones, dormant ones, the ones you opened for store discounts and forgot about. Your bills. What do you owe? To who? And when is it due? Not, I think, around the 15th, the actual due date. What's the company's phone number? What's your account number? Your logins and passwords. Where do you keep them? Can you find them? Is it easy for you to access when you need it? Your subscriptions. What are you paying for monthly? Can you name all of them right now without looking? Is it all coming out of the same bank account? Or is some of it coming out of PayPal and some of it's coming out of your bank account and some of it's coming out of your Cash App card? That's the list. That's your gathering list. Now, you're not doing anything with this information yet. You're not judging it. You're not trying to fix it. You're just getting it out of your head and getting it to one visible place. Because right now, that information is split across your memory, 3 apps, a pile of mail, and probably at least one email inbox that you've been avoiding. The mental load of keeping track of all of it while also living your life is massive. When you move it out of your head and into one place, the load lifts. Not because the problems are solved, but because you can finally see them. And seeing them clearly all in one place without hunting is how you remove friction. And whatever format works for your brain, a spreadsheet, a note on your phone, a piece of paper, on the counter, a voice memo, I don't care what it looks like. The goal is it needs to be visible. Use what you'll actually open. I like a spiral notebook. Now, let's talk about something specific, the paper. Because for most people, the most visible, most physical friction point is the paper, the mail, the pile. And I want to talk about why that pile is especially hard to deal with, because it is not just paper. That pile is physical proof of everything that you haven't gotten to. It sits on your counter, and every time you walk past it, it reminds you it's visible, it's heavy, it's accumulating. And here is what happens for ADHD brains specifically. Out of sight, out of mind, it's a real thing for us. And when something isn't visible, it doesn't feel urgent, even when it is urgent. But then you put it in the pile so that it's visible. And now it's just there, reminding you constantly, creating low-level stress every time you walk by it, which makes you not want to look at it, which makes the pile bigger. It's a whole thing. I've had some mail. I've let something sit. I will not be telling you exactly how long. Maybe one day I will. But I will say it was long enough that I started thinking of the pile as kind of like a little roommate. Just don't judge me, friends. Judge your mama. So here's what I want you to do. Just with the paper, get a bag, any bag. Get a bag that's going to fit the paper, okay? Any bag. A grocery bag, a gift bag, a laundry basket, if that's what you got, a box, right? Put the mail in the bag, in the container. That's step one. You do not open the bag yet. You do not sort the bag. You do not take action on a single thing in the bag. You just know the mail exists and it's in the bag. The bag is not haunting you from the counter. And when you're ready, when you have the right support and the right space, then you deal with what's in the bag. That's it. Don't tell me it's too simple. Simple is the point. We're removing the friction. We're lowering the wall. We're making the first step small enough that your brain can actually say yes to it. And if, when you look in that bag, the thought of going through it alone feels like too much, good. I have something for that too. The Quarterly Paper Party is a group event I host specifically for this. It's not a webinar. It's not a workshop where I lecture you for an hour. We gather together and we go through the pile. It's guided. It's community with support. So if that bag is sitting in your house right now and the idea of opening alone sounds like too much, that is exactly what the Quarterly Virtual Paper Party is for. The link is in the description. And if you've been watching this and realizing that what's coming up for you isn't just about paper, if what's coming up for you is shame or fear or a story that you've been carrying about who you are with money, a story that maybe started before you even had your own bank account, then what you might need is the deeper work. The work that happens in the Love Yourself Back to Wealth group coaching program. That's where we address the root work the money stories, the nervous system, the patterns, not just the symptoms. Information on that is in the description. So I've got 2 support doors available to you. Different people need different ones. Some need them both. Figure out which ones are for you. Okay? Now, here's what I want you to walk away with today. It's not that you're bad with money. It's not that you don't care. It's not that you're not ready. It's not that you're lazy, disorganized, or too far gone. It's that there are too many barriers between you and your money tasks. And the barriers are not permanent. Barriers can be removed. Not all at once, not perfectly, not in a single afternoon, but one at a time. Start with gathering, start with a bag, start with seeing what's there. That's what this is all about. Not getting your finances perfect, getting them visible. Because you cannot manage what you cannot see. And you cannot see if it's living in 7 different places in your head and in your house. That's your homework for the weekend. Not a budget, not a spreadsheet, just the gathering list. Accounts, bills, logins, subscriptions, due dates, 5 things. That's that whole list. A bag with all the paper in it. You're not solving anything yet. You're not calling anyone. You're not disputing anything or figuring out what to do about the number that you find. You're just writing it down. Get it out your head into one place. Pretend it's somebody else's number, somebody else's information, so you don't even have to judge what you're seeing. You could do that. Before you go, I genuinely want to know something. Tell me in the comments, what is your biggest friction point right now? Is it the paper? Is it the logins that you can't find? Is it not knowing what you actually owe? Is it something that I didn't name? Tell me, because I am building the next video around what you actually need, and your answer is going to shape what we do from here. So I'll see you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's gather all that shit and give you just a little bit more peace. I'm ready for you to be young, rich, and rooted. Bye.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money.
Here we go.
Dollar
Check
bill,
this shit.
yo.